Hello and welcome to Not Another Football Podcast. I'm Luke, this is Ollie, and you must be happy today, mate. Obviously, big win for Chelsea against Spurs.
Yeah, stressed but happy. That was an eventful end to the game, to say the least. Pushed, gifted them chances. I think we must have given up five good chances and obviously one goal in
Mm.
that 7 minutes of added time.
Yeah, to be fair, that game went exactly as I thought it would. Like, really open,
Yeah,
chances left, right, and centre. Either team could have took grip of the game. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, you getting the win, they looked horrendous. Like, they looked so open.
they they they, they were so open. I mean, particularly. I mean, you could say that same about us in the first half, albeit the two goals that they actually scored from were mistakes. But still, I mean, yeah, even at 2-0, like you're thinking that the worst could happen here if they get the third goal. Could be four goals inside 20 minutes. Like it was that
Mm.
type of game. But then once it settled down and they missed their chances to go, I think it was 3-0 up. They had a good couple of opportunities. Sanchez as ever gifting them
Real
chances.
mate.
But once we got back into the game, yeah, you just felt like there was going to be no problem in regards to scoring three or four goals because they just
It
so
was the
open. It's
midfield.
absolutely incredible.
I
The midfield was non-existent.
I
Like
mean,
it was non-existent.
I
At least
know
we had
that the
Lavia in there.
gaps. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
their gaps. Basuma, obviously, I know. They'd be just saying this facetiously, but like, I did when he gave away the penalty. He's like, "Oh my god, he's actually playing." I mean, where
yeah,
was
yeah.
he? Non-existent. Him and
I don't
Saar
know.
in the middle of the
I
park for
don't.
them.
I don't know. Yeah, I, I couldn't have told you who was playing in Spurs' midfield. Honestly, they were
Yeah,
just. I mean, Enzo was playing very high up, and obviously Caicedo was getting caught in between coming into the right back in the central midfield position. In that first half, he was trying to cover it, and then he was getting caught out with Son was clever and Kulusevski was clever down that side, and they were getting in a couple of times. But as soon as we changed it in the second half, it was like a different game. But Spurs, they just did not recognise that at all and didn't change it. So
no.
strange.
Well, it's a classic criticism that Ange Postecoglou's been coming under, isn't it, all season?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to be fair, last season obviously he had a really good start, so he had money in the bank, but that's gone now. He just doesn't have like a plan B or just a change, just to tinker within game and actually make a change to stop the flow of a game. They were so open,
yeah,
and it's like you said, weirdly, after they went 2-0 up, they did have a couple of those near moments where you thought, bloody hell, they're on it today. If they This could be three or four. As soon as that
yeah,
didn't materialize, and then you obviously
yeah,
grew into a game as a good team does.
yeah,
They were so open, and they gave up so many chances. We texted at half time, didn't
yeah,
we? And I literally said to you, "This is gonna be 4-4." I mean, quite kind of close,
yeah,
but that's the kind of vibe
yeah.
I was getting from it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we again. It was a bit like the Southampton game where the result flat or the scoreline flattered us a little bit. I didn't even think Chelsea played that well today. We had so many chances that you would have been disappointed if you didn't score four goals.
Hmm.
Like so many opportunities. It was like a training exercise at times. Once it got past 20 minutes in the first half, it was like chance after chance after chance after chance. It was incredible. I thought if Jackson had been on better form, we could have easily
Yeah,
been three or four goals up by the first half.
yeah. No, I agree. He had one of those games, didn't he, where it just wasn't happening
Yeah,
for him. Just wasn't happening for him.
his
Um,
touch was off. Yeah,
yeah, and even
yeah.
when he got
But
in and
then,
Dragusin made a good block, for example, and stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah. But then you saw the weaknesses in Chelsea summarised like I started on that added time. I mean, the amount of opportunities we gifted them in that 7 minutes was just a good summary of why I don't think we will challenge for the title because the centre backs are just too rash. Like
mm,
Colwell, he was all over the place today, looked a nervous wreck. Badiashile looked really poor in times in possession, and you just cannot keep giving the ball away like that. I
no.
mean, Sanchez nearly gifted them one way, passed it straight out to them. Like those three will just cost you, but we were just fortunate today that the opposition we were playing up against gifted us more chances than we gifted them. It's that simple.
Do you not think then that you are in a title race? I mean, you're 4 points behind, so you are technically in the title race, very much so. But
Yeah, I
I
know,
do
but I
agree with
think
you. I feel like over the course of the season, that back four, and obviously even
yeah,
people who come in like the likes of Fafana, for example, and stuff like that, they're going to cost you points ultimately, and the
yeah, it doesn't
goalkeeper.
solve it. Yeah, I don't. I mean, was it Manchester City who signed Laporte in January a couple of maybe what would it have been 4 or 5 seasons ago, and they went on to win the title, and he was like the
Yeah,
difference in them doing that. Chelsea need that and more, and a goalkeeper. So,
yeah.
but we have got a goalkeeper on the bench in Jorgensen that I think would suffice. I mean, we've not seen enough of him to know whether he's a top quality keeper that's going to win you a Premier League, but he can't be worse than Sanchez. It's not possible.
Well, give him an actual run of games to see how he does. I think surely he's better than Sanchez because that guy is a liability. Even like with the first
Yeah.
goal, it's like, look, I know there'll be keepers out there, I'm sure, who will do the same thing as him, but at the top level, why are you making
Yeah.
an anticipation like that and just literally gifting the goal to Solanke?
I know. And the second goal as well, he doesn't look
Yeah, the
like
near
he's ever
post.
getting anywhere close to that at all. I know it comes through a few bodies and being super critical there, but yeah, it just doesn't look like he's getting close to that. But in positives, I thought Enzo was absolutely incredible today. But he's been on it the past couple of weeks, and today he was just driving force. Like if he can add goals to his game as he has been doing over the past 3 or 4 weeks, like
Yeah.
that's what will keep him in the team. Otherwise, I think he gets replaced with Lavia, who I thought was unbelievable the first 45 minutes. I was scratching my head as to why he got taken off at half time, but it worked.
It did work. Yeah. Had a good game, yeah, to be fair, but it did work. Do you think, again, plaudits to Palmer? He could. I mean, he's got the ability to drive you to a title. I mean, I want to keep putting the pressure on you guys. Title talk's all about you, not about us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those percentages that you keep quoting have got to come. The other percentages got to come from somewhere. So maybe we'll put it all on to Cole Palmer. Um, I mean, look, he struggled in the first half. He wasn't playing anywhere near as strong as he was, but that second half, just everything went through him. He was just dictating the pace of the game, like coolness personified for the penalties as well. Just like
Can you believe
yeah, he just doesn't.
Basuma for that? What is
I
he
mean, it's
doing,
just
man?
incredible, isn't it? Just so naive, like on both for and Sarr for the other one, just
Hmm.
incredible, just absolute gifts of penalties. Like, and Chelsea didn't look like at the time like we were going to get loads of clear cut opportunities. We were going to get lots of opportunities in and around the edge of the box and have lots of possession, but
Hmm.
it didn't look like they were giving up clear cut opportunities, and they just did that with 2 penalties.
Yeah. I know. And as
Yeah,
a manager, like for Postecoglou, obviously not much you can do when your players are making decisions like that. But we have touched on the fact that he should have changed it in game, which he didn't do, which he never really does. Where's this leave him? I mean, what are they, 12th? Are they 12th?
yeah, yeah.
So not looking good. And I think the writing's on the wall because there's been already rumours that he would be under pressure after this game if they lost, which was he was kind of semi under
Yeah.
pressure anyway. There's talk of Kieran McKenna being the replacement they'd go to. It just doesn't. I mean, they got a lot of injuries as well, which doesn't help.
Mm. No,
And if you're not
no. I mean, he's
adapting,
taken a month. No, and it's just one of those, isn't it? As a manager, where you go all in, and he's kind of bust on his two centre halves there as well in regards to
mm,
bringing them back from injury. One goes off after what 15, 20 minutes. The other one goes off after 70 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can see why when Dragozin came on, why he probably took that risk. I mean, I don't watch Spurs every week, but he doesn't look like a Premier League centre back, and I suppose you have to go back to the recruitment again. Like they've tried to do things slightly differently in terms of going for a younger profile of player, but signings that they've made haven't been great, have they? And
no,
like there's a few players bang off form there in regards to the Son, who's carried the team at time over the past 5, 6 seasons.
hmm
He looks so far off it.
he
How
does.
did he
It's
miss
not
that
happening.
chance, by the way?
I know, mate. Imagine if that was given. You would have been raging. How was that not
I
flagged for
wouldn't
offside?
rage as it was. That's just a ridiculous rule. That it's just so stupid.
I know, because let's be honest, he did impact the play. And Doggy, I
Of
think it
course he
was.
does. Of course he does.
Yeah, he causes
They're
the
all
Chelsea
looking the other
defenders to
way.
stop. So, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
again, Son let you off the hook. I mean, knowing the Premier League
I know.
officials and VAR, they might have actually given that. So, but Son missed. He completely missed. He looked so off it. There was that bit at the end as well, like just before he scored. They played it into him, and he tried like doing a little layoff pass outside the box, and he just overhit the pass straight to the Chelsea player so they could counter. And you just heard the groans, and I thought,
Yeah, yeah,
if you said that was Timo Werner, you'd just be like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I can see it. It's
yeah.
just, it's not happening. I don't know what's happened. Maybe players have that sharp decline sometimes. Obviously, it might
Yeah,
just be
yeah,
a bad patch of form. You can turn it around, but it's just coinciding with
yeah.
Spurs being terrible as well. So worrying
Yeah,
times for him.
going back to answering your question, I think he looks like he's maybe 2 games away from the old from the tic tac, really, doesn't he looks
Tic tac sack.
yeah, he looks
It looks.
void. Like you just can't. I know it's so obvious to say, but you just can't do that in the Premier League, especially when your players are not at
Not
the
even your first choice.
top 2, top 3 level. Like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that even at so. It's just I don't think you can play that style of play with those individuals,
Liverpool.
and he hasn't brought in individuals who are like top quality to be able to do that.
Yeah, 100% agree. Liverpool did the same when we had all those injuries in the COVID season, full on COVID season. We ended up playing with like Henderson and Fabinho as centre back together, and then they got injured. We had Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, and yet we were still high pressing on the halfway line, trying to high press teams without our starting midfielders because they're either at centre back or injured, without our starting centre backs, who had no pace, by the way. So then any team that we came up against, because our press was off, just little clip over in behind, we're so high up, people are in, there's so much space, the midfield's disjointed from the back four. Essentially what Spurs are doing. And yeah, he looks a deflated man as well. I mean, every
He
time
does. It looks like the writers on the walls, doesn't it?
I know, every time when he's just staring at the floor, he's just like, oh. It's like, yeah, he knows. He knows. And then obviously the camera's panning to Daniel Levy as well. Not good times for him.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it's so good to see because I think
So good. Yeah.
the past 2 years, I've just been panning to fucking shots of Bowley or Agbali.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen one shot pan to them since the West Ham game, which seems like about 10, 12 games ago. So it's so nice
true.
not to have that anymore.
Yeah,
So
no one's talking about them now.
no one's talking about them anymore, are they? So yeah, it's nice to see the plan coming together somewhat. I didn't see the plan with Jadon Sancho, but we forgot to mention him. How good was he today?
I know, he was on it. He was up for it. The only problem is that he's just very hit and miss at the moment. If Maresca can get that tune out of him, though, consistently, he's going to be a massive threat.
Yeah.
But then it's like, will he and can he get that out of him?
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
Two things as well to touch on. Caicedo, red card or not?
I've seen him give him.
Yeah. You have. I must admit, I thought, because of the age that we're in our 30s and obviously growing up in like the mid noughties or whatever, watching the Premier League, if I'd seen that, I'd have been like, it's a yellow card. But given the last 5 years, I thought, oh, they're sending him off here. That they're gonna go to VAR and they're gonna send him off. So I was very surprised.
Yeah, I thought the same. I mean, for me, that's not a red card because he's not gone in like high to do him, but it's over the top of the ball, isn't it? And it's fairly high up on his leg. So you've seen him given countless times. But then what about the Kulusevski one?
Well, I was going to come on to that one as well. I thought that was a red card.
Yeah, it's a red card. Surely it's a red card. So they're even like if they're saying that one's not excessive force, then that one isn't excessive force. It's just
However, though, I mean, what player? The way he wasn't a natural body position to have your elbow like that. No way. So he
No,
knows what he's
no
doing. He's
way.
thinking, I'm going to leave one in on him here. And that's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what he
yeah.
did. So I thought that was a red card as well. I thought, to be honest, I thought in the modern game, another classic cliche, but I did actually think both were reds and would get given as reds. I was surprised neither did. So but going
I
in
hope
like this, like swinging your elbow a little bit, it didn't look natural at all to me.
no. You see the way that he's running with his left arm is down. Why is his right arm running like that? Just, come on, it's a red card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been given. Wasn't, but luckily for you anyway, you went on to win. Obviously,
Yeah.
leaves you
Yeah.
4 points off the top. Liverpool didn't play this weekend, obviously postponed with the Everton game. However, it's actually turned out to be a great weekend for Liverpool and for us because you were the only team who capitalised on that. Arsenal today,
Yeah.
dropping points away at Fulham.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Did you watch the game by any chance? Because I know you've been ill, so...
Yeah. Yeah. I soldiered on through that, and I thought my worst fears were going to happen with that goal at the end.
Yeah, the Saka
What your
header.
thoughts? Disallowed?
Yeah, I mean, he's offside, wasn't
How
he?
long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shit, but that's what VAR's there for. I mean, if they're following the letter of the law, he's offside. So, crap way
Yeah.
to get a goal ruled out against you, but
Yeah.
it's offside.
Yeah.
But they had it with the
Yeah.
goal. I mean, it was very close to being offside, but ultimately he was onside.
Mm.
So,
Onside,
However,
yeah.
did you
Yeah.
see so their XG XG is what it is. People sit on the fence with it. But their XG was something like 1.91. But their open play XG was 0.3. It was set pieces that was like the 1.6. I mean, they look a
Right.
threat off every set piece, but that's given how much of the ball they had, that is a glaring weakness at the moment for them.
Yeah. Do you think they will go into the market and sign in January? Because surely, like the threats outside of Saka are pretty minimal. Like,
Yeah.
there's not going to carry you to a title, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so. If they could go and get Isak from Newcastle, for example, for some reason in January, don't know how you could make that deal happen in January. Difficult, obviously, being one of their best, if not their best player. If they had him, for
The best
example, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like Gordon as well and Guimaraes, but yeah, Isak's definitely top three. Probably is their best player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he makes such a difference to that Newcastle team straight away. So if they're serious about, well, they are serious obviously about winning the title, but if they went out and made a statement sign like that, if they could, then I still think that they probably would be able to claw back. What are they, 6 points behind at the moment? We've got a game in hand. Theoretically, it'd give them a much better chance. But at the moment, relying on the likes of Havertz and Martinelli a bit off it, and obviously Trossard coming in, like you said, they're mainly relying on Saka and the creativity of Odegaard, and then the set piece threat.
Yeah. I mean, the threat is pretty big from the set pieces, but I mean, like we said before, with Havertz, you can defend against Havertz. That's the thing. You can.
Yeah.
There's not many moments where you go, that was undefendable against him, and he is like a streaky striker. Like, he'll go through runs of games where he'll look on fire, and everything he'll touch, he'll put on target up towards the back of the net. But he will go through periods where he doesn't score, and it's just like, who's going to carry them through?
Yeah.
When that is the stage, especially with Martinelli not being able to chip in. Sterling, I don't think he scored, has he, since he's been there?
Maybe in the cup. I don't know. Don't feel like he has.
Not in the league. In the league, it doesn't.
I don't
feel
remember
like
him scoring. Put it that way.
I'd love to finish above them and just to see his face.
God, you really have got it in for Sterling, haven't you?
Yeah, Sterling and Sanchez.
Yeah. Two. But yeah, no, I think Saka main threat, like you said. If you manage to nullify him and defend set pieces well enough, obviously there'll always be a threat there. Open play, they are. They're lacking, so they do need to bring someone in.
Yeah.
Fulham did a decent enough job, I guess. Defended quite well. Obviously got
Yeah.
the point in the end, so that's good for us, for both of us. And then that obviously came off the back of the City result, playing Palace yesterday and getting a 2-2 draw.
What did you think of that?
Well, I watched it, legally. I watched it. My girlfriend's a City fan, so we watched that one, and yeah, Palace started really well and took it to City because they're just like that fear factor's gone. And then City started. They had a big chance that Holland missed, and then Holland scored the header to make it 1-1. Then City just came more into the game, and you were thinking, okay, Palace are dropping off. Obviously, maybe a bit more tired, so just trying to be more compact. And then City made mistakes again at the back. So again, putting themselves under pressure, and then Bernardo Silva playing a really bad pass into no one, essentially, into midfield. Will Hughes then has a shot from that, which results in the corner that leads to the goal. And again, Kyle Walker, terrible defending on the set piece. Yeah. So they put themselves under the pressure, even though they were starting to build the pressure on Palace. So then it gives Palace obviously that goal lead, and City push, they score. But then I didn't sit thinking whilst I was watching, City going to go on and win this. There was just something off. They're just not quite clicking at the moment.
And I didn't watch the full game, I only watched Match of the Day. So, watching the full game, how was De Bruyne? And that, was he making a difference? I mean, very much from the highlights, looked like he was creating chances, but I don't know if he was. You say there that they never look confident of going on to win the game. Did they look more in control with him back in the team, better balanced, or just the same?
So definitely going forward looked better in the sense of the moments that he did have to shine, his passing was inch perfect pretty much, as you expect, and always put in threatening balls. Even if it's not inch perfect, the defender is still scrambling to get a clearance, for example, so there's that opportunity. But again, defensively, they didn't look balanced at all because he didn't have the legs in and around him. So obviously once they break the City press ever so slightly, it looks stretched then. And Palace looked a threat on the counter. So defensively, no. If they can somehow sort out, that stability and balance behind him, having De Bruyne on the pitch definitely will be an advantage going forward. It's not out there to say that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bring him any solidity in terms of balance, because sometimes I know obviously people are like, he's an attacking midfielder, why would he bring balance? But if you can maneuver other pieces, it might just have that nice balance in the midfield that works. But it just didn't. It didn't. They still look quite vulnerable, and like I said, made mistakes and dropped points. Obviously Rico Lewis as well, that was a harsh second yellow that he shouldn't have been sent off for.
That was harsh. That's one of those where you wish kind of VAR would intervene when he's clearly made a mistake like that.
But can't intervene on a yellow, so no can do. But it looked in real time like it was one of those classics.
It did.
Second yellow.
Exactly. Yeah, in real time. Yeah, in real time, it looks like it is definitely a yellow.
Yeah, but unfortunate, and obviously another drop point. They're done. I'm writing them off. I wrote them off after we beat them. There's no way. There's no way they're winning the league. They just can't. They can't. They give up far too many chances. Their dominant cycle with the squad of players they relied on for a good 5 seasons is over. It needs a refresh.
Yeah.
This is
big
that season.
There. Big statement.
I don't think that's out there.
I think you're right. Like they look aging, don't they? I mean, it's strange. Like Grealish, like his career just coming to an end there under Guardiola at City. Surely he's got to let him go if he doesn't pick him for the rest of the season, because Nunes starting on the left ahead of him and then only coming on the 86th minute. Doku only coming on the 80th minute. What's going on there?
I also don't get it sometimes with Pep, because I think Nunes on the left hasn't really worked. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot hasn't worked from this season. Savinho hasn't got a goal or assist in the Premier League for them. They've got Doku, Grealish, and De Bruyne. No, none. So they've got Doku, Grealish, and De Bruyne all fit enough to play. Why would you not just start Grealish, Doku, and De Bruyne? Just to try and give you something different. And look, we got them back. We got them a bit up to speed. Apparently in midweek, I didn't see the game against Forest, but they were really good. Played well, Grealish and De Bruyne. So it's like, why wouldn't you just keep him in? I don't understand why you take him out.
Mm,
Maybe it's the
mm.
fitness thing, but they just
Yeah,
looked
maybe.
toothless without them. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I'm not complaining too much because obviously it's good to see. Gives us a chance at the league, all of us. So yeah, opens the door.
What's your percentage chances of the league gone up, gone down, stayed the same?
I can't. I can't make an educational guess with that because Liverpool didn't play.
Your two biggest rivals have dropped points, but yeah, you can't. That
Yeah,
won't increase the percentage.
but when I look at the table, it's only 4 points between us and you. So I will have to take it down from the 11% I gave us and probably sit at a 9% chance of winning the league. How about
You you just told me you've watched 97 minutes of Chelsea's defending. Regardless, sometimes you got to look past the stats and
that? Four
realise
four
that
points.
we're definitely
4 points.
not in a title race.
4 points, mate.
Oh
I
dear.
have to, I have to weigh that out. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
No, but yeah, joking aside, very strong
yeah,
position. I think if we blow it from here,
yeah,
that's our own doing. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, let's not hope. Anyway, before we do wrap up, I think probably touch on United. Obviously, lost at home to Forest, which was laughable.
Hilarious.
Seeing Onana do what he did, yeah, for the goal, and he's actually been alright for them this season. But that mistake, yeah, just absolutely killed them in the game. And
Yeah.
obviously, we can touch on the game, but wanted to quickly talk as a result off the back of this. Dan Ashcroft's been, well, they've mutually agreed.
Ashcroft, Ashworth, Ashworth.
Ashworth, sorry. No, not Richard Ashcroft. No, yeah, Ashworth. Yeah, he's, they mutually have agreed to part ways. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's not
I
going
would
well for
mutually agree
Ineos.
to part. No, it's not. It's yeah. Again, it's hilarious to watch. I mean, if he was in charge of those transfers, then I mean he's only got himself to blame. But apparently, yeah, the CEO sat him down and yeah, they mutually agreed that he would leave, aka he's been fired.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't be too surprised given the start that they've had. Obviously, the signings that they did make. However, they did seem to have Ten Hag's DNA all over them this summer.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it must be a vision. They must disagree. They must.
I
Something's
think
gone
there's maybe
awry
maybe
behind the scenes.
yeah. Too many chefs in the kitchen maybe with their ideas because I think that's just what they were. This is what they were saying, weren't they? If you read between the lines, not just of the transfers for this season, but when it came to the decision about whether to keep Ten Hag and then the options throughout the season about the manager that they were going to pick towards the end of the season, weren't going to pick. Like I think there was 3 or 4 different opinions in there, and that's why they couldn't come towards a decision. So maybe they've just thrown too many into that senior management team or that decision tree, and it's not working out. I'm sure Dan Ashworth is probably used to in all of the previous setups that he's been in. He's had total control of it, whereas you've got some pretty loud voices in there in terms of from a Man United perspective with all the people that they've put in.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, there will be so many different avenues. I mean, Jim Ratcliffe came out, didn't he? And he made a few comments before the game that were a little bit like writing on the wall style. He was criticising the policy players they brought in and the scouting they'd done with the analytical reports and stuff like that on players and statistical analysis and all that. And I mean, coming out and then losing at home 3-2 to Forest, who we know is a decent team, beat us. But that just compounded misery matters. So, yeah, it was pretty much
Yeah.
done for. And I
Yep.
think Amarim's realised now that he's in for a long season to get to the end of the season to then start to try and correct this mess that he's inherited.
Well, it's not just this season though, is it? Because he's inherited a hell of a mess. Because from a PSR perspective, they're like 300 million. Like they've done it. They've done themselves in, from what I understand. Not that I have a detailed, understanding of the Manchester United accounts, but from what they're saying, like they're in a really sticky situation. And And the only way that they're going to be able to get out of it is sell the way out of it. But I don't see there being a massive amount of value across that book of players that they've got.
Yeah. Who's really going to want those players at the value that they're probably valuing them at, and also the wages that come with it? Not many suitors.
Yeah.
I mean, been terrible. And like you said, it is accumulation of so many bad seasons and bad transfers. But it all falls at Amorim's doorstep now to try and obviously work with the club's hierarchy and whatever structure they're going to have in place moving forward to try and get that corrected. But again, it just slows them down. You look at the players that they had out there yesterday and the way they performed. He knows it's going to even be a struggle this season to get a tune out of them. I don't know where they finished.
Yeah.
I feel like they might finish something like 7th, probably.
Maybe worse. But I suppose there's teams around them that are doing pretty weak in terms of the chasing pack, aren't they? They're all struggling.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we'll leave it there, mate. Cheers for joining me as ever. And if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, comment with your thoughts below. We'd really appreciate that. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, feel free to share the podcast as well. Friends and family, help get the podcast out there. Once again, we'd really appreciate that. And we'll look to be back next week to discuss some more footy. So until then, have a good week.